Alrighty, what's happening? Hope y'all are good. I am hoping there's not that many people on this live tonight because I'm gonna make this quick. At least that's the goal, is to make this quick tonight. I see y'all are checking in and I appreciate you. If you the dudes out there, dap for you. For the ladies, little side hug with squeeze for showing up. I appreciate y'all. I started to put up a post earlier and say to you guys, if y'all showed up tonight, that I was gonna chastise you a little bit for spending time with me on a Saturday night, because you should be out drinking or kicking it or something like that. But the fact that you're here lets me know y'all are about your business, so that's a good thing. Thanks, I appreciate it. You know, people say I'm trying to be Sugar Daddy Slim when I wear these shirts, you know, these floral shirts. But see, I'm older than Slim, so I was wearing some florals before Slim was busting florals. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But just like, you know, he's SDS. I told him I was what am I? I'm Sugar Daddy JTL. So I'm SD JTL. So that's what I'm into tonight. Anyway, coming to y'all live from New York City tonight. I've got a conference that's in New York tomorrow and Tuesday, and I'm hoping to bring some information back to y'all. It should be pretty exciting. I mean, there's a lot of really good speakers. Some people from the Shark Tank are speaking, 50 Cent speaking. I think Meek might even be here. I'm not even sure, but there's a lot of people here that are speaking tomorrow and the next day and talking about the future and business and all those types of things. So my hope is to, sometimes I like to get out to the East Coast, the West Coast, try to absorb some of this stuff in this big ass head of mine and bring it back to the crib so that we can share that and lift everybody. So thank you for being here. I've got dinner with my daughter tonight, and I'm gonna try to cut out of here at a reasonable time to go have dinner with her. But I do want to talk about time management tonight because it's coming up, and I want y'all to think about time management and your approach to building your plan, but also whether you're trying to go back to school, whether you're trying to start a business, whether you're trying to get a promotion at your current business, whether you're trying to reinvigorate a current business, time management is a big deal. And people will say all the time, we spend time in the areas of our life that are important. So if you're a lady out there, for instance, you know, or a guy, let's say you've got a significant other, doesn't matter what you are, whatever the hell you are, you've got a significant other in your life. And if they didn't spend time with you, you tell them they weren't making time. And if whoever makes time for you, you know, thinks you're important. Well, the same thing applies to you building a bigger account. You've got to make an effort to have date night with your bigger account or with your goal for your bigger account. Another way to put it is Netflix and chill. Sometimes you got to have Netflix and chill with your checking account, or you got to have Netflix and chill with your savings account. And most of the time it's not going to be Netflix. Quick question, I want to be an entrepreneur, make a lot of money. Do I need to go back to school or just work and learn? We've talked about that a little bit. I'll come back to you, bro. But look, you don't have to go back to school as in the academic sense of school, traditional school. There's school working for somebody. But anyway, we'll come back. I digress. Time management is about where you spend your time. And I want to make a quick point to you because I think it's important that people understand that if you look at your entire day and you were to break your day down into 15-minute increments, then you would see and ask yourself where you spend your time. And I'm not talking about when you're at work. So if you work for somebody else, there's not a whole lot you can do about that. You work for somebody else, they're going to control that 8 hours, that 9 hours of your day. Can't change that. But in those areas where you can change what you do with your time, where you can influence it, where you spend your eyes and your ears and your hands, that's where you're going to make money in the future. Every place you put your eyeballs, every place you put your ears, your hands, in the time that you're not. So let me say it a different way. I'm one of those folks, I can tell a lot about a person based on what they do with their spare time. You could tell a lot about a person with what they do, and you know what's important. So in the market that I'm in, there's a lot of advertisers that advertise on radio in Houston, radio in Dallas, radio throughout Texas. We advertise as well, but I have a feeling a lot of the people that advertise in my particular industry don't listen to 97.9 when they're not doing commercials. In other words, that's not really what they do. They're just there to try to get the business. I got no problem with that. But my point is, that's not who they are in their spare time. I'm who I am in my spare time. You are who you are in your spare time. This is me. And you got to make being about your money in your spare time a priority. Where you spend your time is where you're going to see the biggest growth in that bank account down the road. I would say that the best way to do this is to start keeping some type of, account of, or an audit of what you're doing with your time. We talked about it a little bit last night, but it's clear people are watching TV shows. It's clear. Now, if you got, and I want you to be accountable. Remember, we got to be accountable. You got to throw the flag. But how many shows are you actually watching? If you're watching a show every single night, then that's valuable time that you're missing out on where you could be spending time focusing on your future. The show ain't going to pay you a dime. So I want to take you through a quick exercise here in just a second on how you can look at your day and how you can put a program together to make sure you're putting adequate time investment into your future and into building a bigger account. Somebody says, so true, I'm guilty. Yeah, I think everybody's been at that point. I had to basically reject everything but my phone. And then when I'm on Instagram, I'm trying to do things like this, like I'm trying to be positive and trying to find ways to add value to my life and yours. Other than that, it's work for me. That's pretty much where I focus. And then my downtime is purely fun. I check out and I'm just having fun. We travel. We hit, if we hit the club, we hit the club. I'm not on my phone thinking about business. We're clubbing or we're kicking it. But other than that, I'm working. All right, so let me just express something to you. There's a lot of folks out there that say they don't have money to start a business. I ain't got no money to start the business. And that's what I need. I need an investor. I need money for the business. That may be true, but there is a resource that you do have that you're spending, and that's time. No matter what you do in this world, no matter what your activity is, you're spending time or you're spending money. Those are the only two ways you pay for an activity, time or money, sometimes both. Time, you're paying. Money, you're paying. So right now, you're paying time. That's what happens. And so as you're paying your time, with your time, you're paying with a limited resource we call attention. I call it attention. You call it attention. You know what I'm talking about. You're paying with your attention. Here's the problem. You can be in the room. Have you ever been in a meeting at work and you've been there, you were in the room, but you really weren't there from an attention standpoint? You follow what I'm saying? You're there in the room, you're in the meeting, but you're not fully there. When we were growing up, we'd get lectured by our mom or our dad. Pops is going off, mom's going off. I didn't have a dad, but you get what I'm saying. Some of y'all, my grandmother might have been screaming at me. I wasn't there. I'm just kind of tuning that out because that's not what I want to hear right now. We've been trained to do that. When it comes to focusing now, we have to dig deeper and figure out a way to actually pay attention. That's why they call it pay attention, because you're paying with your attention. And if you're paying 50% of your attention every time you're spending minutes working on your future, then you're basically negotiating against yourself. You're cutting into your profits in the future. And I want you to realize that. You're discounting the future benefits of your time. And so my goal is to get you all to understand that if you're gonna spend time, because you don't have the money, you're gonna spend time working on your future, then give it 100% of your attention. And instead of negotiating against yourself, give yourself the complete benefit of every 60 seconds. Don't just take 30 seconds of it and pay attention, which means the phone must go away. You can't look and see who liked your last post while you're working on this. You can't be peeking at the show, checking the score of the game, seeing if your booty call texts you back and y'all gonna hook up tonight. If besides that, dog, if you was solid, you wouldn't have to see if your booty call texts you back. You would know she did. You just say, hey, let's hook up, and she's gonna text you back. So fellas, that's a lift. She don't text you. If you don't see bubbles sorry, I'm going the wrong direction with this. But seriously, pay attention. Pay with your attention. It's yours. It's the last second you'll have. This passes, this passes, this passes. Don't just be in the room physically, be in the room mentally, 100% there when you're doing these exercises. And when you're listening to a mentor or you're talking to somebody, I don't want you to think, like sometimes when we in church, you hear folks amening and just talking, and that's cool. I get that as long as you can do it, but I like to just be silent and dig in. I had a partner of mine I went to law school with. He was insane Eddie Lane, and Eddie was a noob from Prairie View. Eddie and I both went to law school together, and I would go to class, and I'd always have like a pen and a pad in class. And Eddie would drive me crazy because he'd go into class and literally just sit there just like this. And he'd just look at the professor. He never took notes, never. I'm very rare I would ever see him go like this and reach, but he was paying attention. He was locked in for that 30 or 60-minute session. And that's the way we should be, especially when it's our own game. Remember, folks, when it's your game, the score matters. So again, I'll reiterate. You have two things you pay with. You pay with your time and you pay with your money. When it comes to time, the only way you calculate time or the value of it is how much attention you put in. That's how you get a return. You're flipping your time or doubling your time into a return, which is the future. And so make sure you're 100% present anytime you're doing that. Now, once you get into that, now you got to figure out, are you doing the right things? And I got a simple exercise for you for that, and I drew it on a piece of paper. I talked about it a little bit the other night, but I think it's important for you guys to actually see it. If you wrote down the place you're trying to go, what you deserve. So again, you're here. You're trying to get here. These are the things you're doing in between there. This is nothing but time and attention and decisions and action. That's all that is these steps in here. Here's where you are. Here's where you want to be. How do you know you're spending your time, your spare time, if you're working, or maybe you're committing 100% of your time. Maybe it is your business that we're talking about here today, and you already spend all day doing that. Well, God bless you. But look, if you're in between here and here and working on these things, how do you know that you're spending time in a way that's beneficial to you? And it's a simple question. Is X, so you do this, X, is X going to move you closer to here, right? Does X move you closer to here? Or does doing X keep you where you are or move you away? If X moves you closer to your goal, then you do X. If it keeps you here, you need to think about it. We need to figure out what's going on. Why is this not moving? If it was intended to move you towards your goal, but it's not, then we need to figure out what's going on. But if it's moving you away from this goal, away from this destination, GPS, in other words, you flying off the charts on that GPS, then maybe X is not something you should be doing. And the way to do that is to basically take something like this. Hopefully y'all can see that. Is it opposite? I don't know. It might be. I don't know how to do this shit on goal, closer, future. I tried it on my phone to see if I could make it work. Okay, cool. So what you want to do is if you've got a place, it's flipped. Okay, all right, y'all. I love you, but don't trip. You get where I'm going with this, man. I do it this way, you see? All right, so anyway, goal right here. Is it moving you towards your goal or is it moving you away? That's a yes or no question. And it's only the ego that's gonna make you try to say, spending time with Boo is moving me towards my goal. Or I'm reading a book, the Michelle Obama book, for instance, which everybody's reading, and God bless you, you should be reading it. Amazing First Lady, probably one of the best of all time. But you need to be able to answer the question honestly. Is that moving you towards the most important things in your life? Or is it just a pastime? And they say pastime, I call them past times, as in it's the past or past the time. That's all you're doing, is you're just passing your time. And if this action right here is really just a way for you to pass time, then that's something that you might want to consider eliminating. So you look at your entire day. You go from this to this to this to this. These things that you do during your spare time. Are those things moving you towards, each individually, are they moving you towards your goal, or are they moving you away? Are they moving you towards your goal, or are they moving you away? If they're moving you towards, you keep doing them. If they're moving you away, you stop. And what does that mean? Sometimes that means you gotta let a few people go. Sometimes that means you gotta not renew the lease on that apartment. Sometimes it means you gotta let that car go. Sometimes it means you gotta change jobs because this job is not moving you towards your goal. Sometimes it's better for you to take this stand still approach rather than taking a step back. And if you look at the things in your life that are making you take a step back, sometimes the dramatic shift is getting rid of the things that are pulling you back and just get yourself to a point where you can stand still. Like I know some men, for instance, that got behind on child support. I was behind on child support. And I was spending time worrying about how I was gonna come up with that extra money. And instead of taking a big leap forward, just making them minimum payments, I was screwing around trying to hit a big lick to catch it all up. Sometimes the big lick ain't the move. You gotta make small deals with yourself all day and chip away at these balances to make sure that you can do bigger things down the road. But the point I'm making is you gotta be honest with yourself about every little thing that you're doing and minimize the activities that you're doing that have no contribution to moving you towards your goal. They're either the fuel that's gonna move you closer to where you deserve to be, or the things that are gonna be pulling you back. And if you make that list and put everything on that, talking to Tracy, calling mama every day. Now look, there ain't nothing wrong with talking to your mama every day, but if you talk to mama for 30 minutes, maybe it's time to take mama down to 15 just during this goal. Mama will appreciate the fact that she don't ever have to be rolled over because she's got bed sores at a nursing home when you found the time to take care of her with the 15 minutes of attention that you're spending, not on the phone with her, but with focusing on making sure you got the money to put people in your home to take care of her when she's 80. That was a long-winded way of me saying you taking care of business. And remember, as we said, in life, you're either taking care of business or you're bullshitting. You're either making money or you're bullshitting. You're either finding a way to take care of your family or you're bullshitting. You're either finding a way to take care of yourself or you're bullshitting. And sometimes it takes that type of approach to a day. 24 hours in the day, subtract 16 for the 8 you're at work and the 8 you're sleeping. We know we got 8 hours. What are you doing with that? Maybe it's 7 because you're going to go to the gym. You have to go to the gym. You got to take care of yourself. Maybe you're cooking dinner, mama, bathing the kids. So maybe it's 6. But what are you doing with that 6 hours? What are you doing the 15 8-minute increments times 1? That's 4 15 minutes in an hour, plus another 4 15 minutes in another hour. What are you doing with that? And again, that list is going to show you this, what I did, didn't move me towards my goal. It moved me away. This, what I did move me towards my goal. And all you do is replicate that. Replicate that behavior. That's the routine somebody brought up last night, was talking about routine. How important is a routine? Routine is extremely important because it builds new habits. And once something becomes a habit, it's not work. It becomes pain-free. It's second nature. It's like you subconsciously will start to do these things because they're your routine. And then you can take time to celebrate later on. There's I think a myth that there's such thing as overnight success. And nobody really gets to see all of the work that goes in behind the scenes for people that become successful. So it doesn't get publicized, it's not televised, nobody's really documenting it. We don't really get to see all those things. But what we do know is the people who are more successful than other people went from taking their personal gifts or their natural ability, and they started working hard hour after hour after hour from taking that natural ability and turning it into a skill. And once they worked that natural ability into a skill with their time, with their attention, it went from natural ability into a skill because of their time. KG, Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Lance Armstrong, Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, every single one of them went from natural ability into skill with their attention. They took their time and they spent it. Their attention and they spent it on turning their natural ability into a skill. That's effort. Then they take that, once it becomes skill, they add effort again, time, attention, effort, all of that, and they work it with a plan. They turn that skill into accomplishments. So you go from here to here to here, but the only way you do that is by discriminating with your time. Years ago, I was standing in line at a grocery store back when they used to keep us a long time ago, when they used to keep Sports Illustrated at the counter. And a lot of y'all probably remember Allison Felix. She was a 200-meter runner, 400-meter runner. She was amazing. Well, I think at the time, if I remember correctly, she was maybe a freshman in high school in California. She was in Sports Illustrated. I don't remember exact details, but if I screw this up, whatever. I do know most of it's true. And I think at the time when she was in high school, she had anchored the 4x1, the 4x2, the 4x4. They won state and all those, and then she won the 200 and the 400. And I remember thinking, this girl's going to be in the Olympics one day. She's going to be golden. She's going to be amazing. And sure enough, years later, here's this beautiful girl coming into the Olympics. I think she went straight from high school right to the Olympics, if I remember correctly. I don't ever remember running for a college. If she did, I don't remember it. But I do know she was in the Olympics early. Y'all know how many Olympics it took her to get a gold? I think on her third Olympics, she got a gold for her first time. And I remember the reporter going up to her and saying, what is it that you did differently that took you from not winning gold to winning gold? Again, fastest runner in California. I mean, the fastest woman in California is going to the Olympics, y'all. And chances are she's getting a gold a lot sooner than what she did. And despite all that, with the best coaching, with the best everything around her, all of the resources that this United States Olympic team had and could put around her, and rubbing elbows with the greats, Marion Jones, all of the greats, she ran with and against. The Joiners, you name it, she ran with them and against them. And when asked what was the difference between non-gold medal Olympics and a gold medal Olympics, her answer was, I got selfish. I got selfish. I remember it. And I said to myself, wow. So when you become selfish, not just with your money, that's not what she was talking about. She was talking about her time. She got selfish with her time. See, I've had to be selfish with my time in order to take care of the people in my life. And you've got to be selfish with your time to take care of the people in your life. You're actually doing good by doing what you're doing. Sometimes help doesn't look the way people think it looks. You got people in your life that are going to say, hey, I need your help. I need you for this. I need you for that. And that may feel good at that moment or seem like you're being rude for not being there or not helping them. But reality is sometimes in the future, you doing what you're doing now is going to allow you to do more for them than you ever would have been able to do had you not been selfish. I'm giving you a bunch of different ways to look at this. The point of it all is you have to figure out a way to take the distractions out of your life, to get rid of the things that aren't contributing to you moving towards what you deserve from here to here. Get rid of those things or put them on pause, delay them, mute them out of your life. And that's going to be the best contribution you can make to time management skills. Never mind what you got to do right now. Let's focus on what you don't need to do, and that's you don't need to do things that aren't contributing to moving you towards that destination. You should be able to look at your GPS every day and see yourself moving closer to where you're trying to be. All right? So I'm glad to see y'all got a page full of notes. I'm going to go have dinner with my daughter. Look, here's the deal. Let me say this real quick. I promised 10 days, 10 lives. And I'm still working and doing all the other stuff. I'm not making any excuses, but it hasn't given me a bunch of time to go in and read the messages on IG, the DMs. I'm sorry about that, but I will get to those. So I don't know when we end our 10 lives, but I'll figure it out. I'm gonna do a live tomorrow in New York, a live Tuesday in New York. And I got armed guards around the crib, so carry your ass over there if you want to, thinking I'm out of town. The dogs and them guards will get your ass. But seriously, I'm going to try to get to the DMs and all that kind of stuff, folks. Trust me, next week will be a lot easier for me to get to all that. For right now, we're going to keep the lives going and keep the messages going. So much love to all y'all. Make sure now you do that list. I know we had somebody out there that said it was backwards, but it's going to be goals right here, things that contribute, that move you towards your goal, and things that move you away. And you're basically going to be like, yes, no, yes, no. If something moves you closer to your goal, fine. If it doesn't, get rid of it. Chop it out. Get rid of 2 or 3 things today. Like, go through it tonight. Think about it. I just got to stop doing this. It's a waste of my time. I'm spending 30 minutes. I'm paying 30 minutes of my attention to this, and there's no return on it. All right? Appreciate y'all. I'll save this right now. It'll be up. And I've had a lot of people talk about YouTube. We'll put the YouTube up. Everybody's working on that. We'll make it happen. Y'all take care. Have a good Saturday night. Somebody go drink now, too. Once you're done, make your list. Go drink. Have some vodka or some brown liquor.